Watch this egg fall. Gravity pulls it down. It hits the table. It shatters. This scene feels natural. It aligns with your experience of the world. Now watch it in reverse. Instantly you know something is wrong. You know this is a trick. You have never seen a shattered egg reassemble itself. You have never seen smoke pour back into a burning log, or a spilled glass of water jump back into the cup. We instinctively know that the universe has a direction. Events flow from the past to the future. We call this the arrow of time. But here is the mystery. Why? The question is harder to answer than you might think. Because deep down, the laws of physics do not care about time. If you look at Isaac Newton's laws of motion or Einstein's relativity, they are time symmetric. If you film 2 billiard balls colliding and play it backward, it looks completely normal. The physics works in both directions. In the fundamental equations, yesterday and tomorrow are treated exactly the same. So, if the atoms inside the egg follow laws that work backward, why can't the egg itself assemble backward? Where does the arrow come from? The answer lies in the one law that breaks the symmetry. It is perhaps the most depressing yet powerful law in the cosmos. The second law of thermodynamics. It states that in a closed system, entropy always increases. It never stays the same. It never goes down. It always goes up. This is the one-way street. This law is the reason you age. It is the reason stars die. And it is the reason you can break an egg, but you can never ever unbreak it. But what is entropy? People often say it is a measure of disorder or messiness. That is a useful simplification, but the reality is mathematical. Entropy is a measure of how much information is hidden in a system. Think of a clean room. Everything is in a specific place. The order is high. The entropy is low. Now think of a messy room. The socks could be anywhere. The shirts could be anywhere. There are millions of ways for a room to be messy. There is only one way for it to be perfectly clean. Nature prefers the state that has the most possibilities. Let's look at the numbers. Imagine a fresh deck of cards, ordered ace through king. This is a state of low entropy. If you shuffle the deck, you create disorder. Why? Because there is only one way to arrange the cards perfectly. But there are 8 times 10 to the power of 67 ways to arrange them randomly. That number is huge. It is larger than the number of atoms in the Milky Way galaxy. The universe doesn't hate order. It just plays the odds. It is statistically inevitable that things will move from the unique state order to the probable state chaos. Time moves forward simply because there are more ways to be messy than there are to be clean. So, if entropy is just probability, why does it feel like a force? Why does time feel like a river that drags us along? Physics tells us that time is not a physical object. It is a gradient. Just as water flows from high ground to low ground, the universe flows from order to disorder. We experience the passage of time because we are constantly sliding down the slope of probability. The arrow of time is simply the universe seeking a more likely arrangement of atoms. It is not pushing us. We are falling. The most common way we see this is through heat. Place a hot cup of coffee in a cold room. The heat energy is concentrated in the liquid. This is order. Over the next hour, that energy spreads out. It bumps into air molecules. It dissipates. Eventually, the coffee becomes cold, and the room becomes slightly warmer. The energy is still there. It hasn't disappeared, but it is now useless. It is disorganized. This spreading of energy is the ticking of the cosmic clock. You can never gather that heat back into the cup. The moment is gone. This leads to a profound realization about our origins. If entropy is always increasing today, that means yesterday it was lower. And 1 billion years ago, it was lower still. If you rewind the tape all the way back, you arrive at the Big Bang. For the universe to have an arrow of time, it must have started in a state of impossibly high order. The Big Bang wasn't just an explosion. It was the moment of maximum potential. It was the wound-up clock. We have been watching the universe unwind from that singular moment of perfection ever since. But if the universe loves chaos, how do we exist? Life is ordered. Your body is a complex machine. Are we breaking the law? No. We are simply delaying the sentence. To stay alive, to keep your body ordered, you have to consume energy. You eat food and you expel heat and waste. You're paying for your internal order by making the rest of the universe messier. But you cannot win forever. Aging is simply the accumulation of entropy in your cells. Small errors in DNA replication, microscopic damage that isn't repaired. Eventually, the errors overwhelm the system. Death is just the moment your body reaches thermal equilibrium with the environment. This also explains why our minds work the way they do. Why can you remember the past but not the future? Because the past leaves traces. A footprint in the sand is a localized increase in order caused by an event. The past has lower entropy, so it leaves scars on the present footprints. Photographs, memories. The future has higher entropy. It is a fog of probability. It hasn't happened yet, so it cannot leave a mark. We are walking backward through time, seeing only where we have been, never where we are going. For centuries, physicists tried to find a loophole. They wanted to beat the second law. The most famous attempt is a thought experiment called Maxwell's demon. Imagine a tiny demon controlling a door between two rooms. He watches the air molecules. When a fast molecule comes, he opens the door. When a slow molecule comes, he shuts it. Over time, he separates the heat from the cold, creating order out of chaos without doing any heavy work. He has reversed entropy, but there is a catch. To sort the molecules, the demon has to measure their speed. He has to think. He has to store information. Information processing requires energy, and it generates heat. The entropy he saves in the box is released by his own brain. You cannot cheat the house. The house always wins. If we cannot stop the flow. What exactly is time? Albert Einstein gave us a model that is both beautiful and terrifying. He suggested that we stop thinking of time as a flowing river. Instead, think of it as a solid block. This is the block universe theory. Space and time are woven together into a four-dimensional fabric. Just as all of space exists at once, all of time exists at once. The past hasn't vanished. The future isn't waiting to be born. They are all just locations in the block. This implies that our sensation of change is an illusion. Think of a movie reel. The entire movie, start, middle, and end, exists on the film strip in the can. The characters don't know the ending, but the ending is already there, in the block universe. The dinosaurs are still alive in their slice of space-time. You are already dead in your future slice. Nothing is actually moving. Our consciousness is just a spotlight shining on one slice at a time, creating the illusion of a flow. Why do we believe this? Because of relativity. Einstein proved that there is no such thing as a universal now. If you move fast enough, your now separates from mine. Events that I see happening simultaneously, you might see happening years apart. If my now can be your past, and your future can be my present, then the past and future must be real places that exist permanently. If they didn't exist, we couldn't disagree on when they happened. The entire timeline is a frozen structure. This explains why time travel to the past is likely impossible. To travel backward, you wouldn't just be moving your body, you would be fighting the current of the entire cosmos. Remember the broken egg. To go back to yesterday, you have to unbreak every egg, unburn every fire, and unthink every thought in the universe. You would have to lower the entropy of the entire cosmos. The math forbids it. Not because it is physically impossible, but because it is statistically impossible. The door to the past is locked, and the key was thrown away at the Big Bang. Where is this arrow pointing? If we look billions of years into the future, the trend is clear. The universe is slowly unwinding. Every star you see in the sky is an engine of entropy. It takes organized hydrogen atoms, which are useful fuel, and burns them into heat and light. That light scatters into the void and can never be gathered again. We are slowly, methodically burning through the universe's battery. We are smoothing out the lumps. We are turning structure into a uniform soup of radiation. We need to appreciate where we are right now. Cosmologists call this the Stelliferous era, the era of starlight. It is the brief, exciting party where the universe is active. Energy flows, life evolves, civilizations rise. But this is not the permanent state of affairs. Compared to the lifespan of the cosmos, this era is just a spark. We are living in the few fleeting moments after the clock was wound, watching the gears spin before they lose momentum. What happens when the battery dies? We reach thermal equilibrium. Eventually, the stars will burn out. The black holes will evaporate. The temperature of the universe will be the same everywhere, just a fraction of a degree above absolute zero. When everything is the same temperature, heat cannot flow. If heat cannot flow, no work can be done. No thoughts can be thought. No life can exist. Time technically stops. Not because the clock breaks, but because nothing changes anymore. This is the heat death. This makes everything we do a defiance of nature. Think of civilization as a sandcastle. We take chaotic sand and build walls, towers, and bridges. We create order. But the ocean of entropy is always lapping at the edges. Roads crack. Metal rusts. Bodies age. Memories fade. We are fighting a war we are mathematically destined to lose. But the beauty is in the building. The arrow of time is a tragedy, yes, but it is also a gift. If time stood still, if entropy never increased, nothing would ever happen. The universe would be a frozen statue.
The fact that things break,
The fact that things break, fade, and die is the price we pay for the privilege of existing at all. Order is rare. Life is improbable. This moment right now is a jewel that will never exist again. So do not mourn the passing of time. Just make sure you are watching the clock while it still ticks.